Hello out there in internet land, and welcome to John Boy's Radio and Electronics Workbench. Today we have a GE Superbase, my own personal unit. I got up this morning and came into the shop and turned it on, and it had no receive. So I went, okay, let's just rip this thing apart again. It's got a little backstory. I got this from a guy about 5 years ago. He brought me three GE Superbases. He said if I fixed him 2 of them, he would give me 1. So I took the best 2 I could fix and got them go up and running, and then I gave him those, and he gave me this one. He's since said he was going to bring them back to me again. They said they need work. This about 5 years ago. And I've been working on this one for the last 5 years. It's had multiple failures. The first failure it was just intermittent all over the place, and I ended up recapping it and resoldering the boards on both sides. This is a dual board, and each board is double-sided, so it's absolute craziness and time-consuming to restore. And let me show you around this unit. So it has a volume, a squelch, a tone. It has mic power, RF gain, dim switch, GE Superbase, and the clarifier. All you techs would probably notice that I don't have the stock potentiometer on there. It was broken off and gone. That was one of the reasons I took this one, because it was so messed up. And I managed to find a potentiometer that worked in there, but it's not the 10 turn like the original. The original had a rapid and a fine, and it was on a kind of on a geary system. It was a special potentiometer that they only made for this, so it's kind of hard to find. It's got a speech compressor in it, which was rare for those. This unit was made in 1984. It's got another unique feature that not too many radios have back then, and it has an A/B switch for an antenna. So it has 2 PL259 connectors on the back, SO238s for the connector. And it has a modulation meter, and it has that's in conjunction with the CAL and the SWR function. It has a CB and a PA function. Noise blanker and the ANL are here, and those work really well when they're tuned up right. It's got a clock. There's no frequency counter, and that kind of covers it for the functionality of this unit. Let's go to the other view. So from this view, I can show you what I found when I got in here. So I took the covers off, and I set it up on its side, and as soon as I flexed the bottom board, it came back, kind of. It came back almost, but then it was trying to quit again. It was trying to leave and come back, and when I'd bang on it with a hammer, it would kind of go in and out. And so I know I had an intermittent somewhere. These things always do. That's kind of what they're about. The parts in them are pretty rock solid, except for the caps. Of course, they go away. And I would like to show you the first fault that I had with it. It took me about 5 hours to find, and that was over here in this corner. Way over here underneath to the left of this, back in this corner, there's a 8 volt regulator pass transistor, and boy is it hard to get to. It's right there, and you can't get to it without ripping this thing apart. And I had to replace that transistor. It had an intermittent fault. It was doing much the same thing. You'd flex the board and it would come back, flex the board and it would go away, but it was a different go away. It would completely die. Transmit, receive would be completely gone. The 8 volt regulator was completely non-functional, and it ended up being the transistor was intermittent, and when I flexed the board, it was something going on inside the legs, of the thing. So where you had the 3 legs coming out, and one of the legs was intermittent inside, so I replaced that, finally got that up and running. Now back to what I had to do to it today. So this board is unique. A lot of techs will tell you this. It has double-sided circuit boards, and the boards are connected together with these little, see these little nods here? I think you can see them. These little things right here, they're pins. They're all over the board. And what they do is they connect the front side of the board to the back side of the board. And over time, from 1984, from flexing in and out, hot and cold, those things crack. And then when they crack, they get intermittent, and they start acting crazy, and you've got to go in there and either pull the pins and resolder. I usually just resolder them on both sides. It takes a long time, but you just go through them all, and most of the time if you get them all. But I think I missed a couple because my problem ended up being right in here. It was intermittent right in here. When I flexed this board, it would come back. And when it came back, it was good. So I got in here and I redid like 5 or 6 of these right in here. There's 5 or 6 of them in there, and I resoldered those on the pins, and now it's fine. It seems to be okay again. It's actually come back to life, and that's a good thing. It always irritates me when my shop radio dies. I quit everything and put it on the bench and find out what's going on with it. So this radio's always been an ongoing crazy thing. It's got brand new caps in it, so it's kind of up and running, and when it runs really good. So you can see that this pot here is probably the potentiometer. Everybody knows what that is. That's AM carrier power, one of the only radios I've ever seen that does that. This particular chassis, and I think there's other GEs that have that in there too. But if you ever want to turn your GE Superbase power up and down on AM, that's the pot. You can turn it down to 2 or turn it up to 6. I wouldn't recommend it, but I keep mine set at about 4.5, and it swings to about 16 on AM. Let's get the bang back over here on this side. So I'll show you what it looks like on the modulation. There's the carrier on the scope. Let's go over here and get some tone going. And you can see it's got a really nice, turn that off, there we go. And it's got a really nice, real good modulation. These are really nice. You can see it's real clean and symmetrical. That's kind of what I like to see. It's a little bit hitting in the middle. That's kind of normal. I like mine hot. I don't want it to be real square wave-ish, but I like it a little hot. I want it to hit the 100% mark, and I like to see that 16 watts in there. And that's what she does on the AM. So on sideband, put it on 2-tone. And that's kind of what she looks like on 2-tone. And it's putting out about 16 watts. It's got a nice symmetrical 2-tone. It's very well put together. These things work good. I'm snagging my microphone cable again. I'm gonna have to get me a wireless mic. It's driving me crazy. So let's see. There we go. That's about that. Now I want to look at the. Spectrum on this thing because I've never done it. Never looked at spectral on this thing. So I'm going to switch over to the spectrum analyzer here, and let's together see what this thing does. Okay, I got her all set up here. Let's do the spectral analysis. Yep, it's pretty much the same as a lot of them that I've seen. So you can see that there's the main signal here and the second harmonic. Let's go ahead and turn on the peak. Yep, and it's doing kind of the same thing as other radios you've seen me put on here. They all seem to have a second harmonic to them, but the second harmonic is always about 60 dB down from the, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. This one's about 70 dB because I got it pretty hot. I got it through the roof on the top. So it's about 60 to 70 dB down on the second harmonic, and that's good. That's kind of what you want to see. It's not going to get much better than that. If the trap is adjusted right, it's going to be in that range. So I kind of wanted you to see that. I wanted to see it too, actually. Okay, let's go back to the overhead. So now let's put her on the air. Let's just see what this thing sounds like. Get some stuff going here. It's pretty noisy around here. You can really tell. My antenna's way up in a tree, so. And that channel 19 is always roaring because it's a trucker channel. So down on channel 8, there's channel 9. Bunch of stuff going on there. People making all kinds of noise. Go down to Super Bowl. Yeah, 15 people all trying to talk at the same time. But what these things really do is they shine on sideband. So let's get this thing up there. We're in the sideband area. There's New York. Yep, these radios are pretty nice, and they've got really excellent cross mode. Really excellent cross mode. So from lower sideband, upper sideband, you could be both on the same channel. And if you're on upper and they're on lower, you won't hear them. It's another radio that has a very, very large filter in it. That filter is right here. That guy right there. That's what makes it what it is. That's one of the filters in it. This one has more than one too. It's got this big filter and it's got this little filter, much like a 2000, but the IF frequency is different. So I think this has 10.695 IF, but I can't remember. I have to go look in the book. So that's kind of where that one is. So I'm going to put the covers on, and that's just about all I have. I'm going to put the covers back on, set it over in its hole, and hopefully it'll last. Hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. So give me a minute. We'll put the covers on, and that'll be the end of this one. Okay, and there you have it. She's all buttoned up and ready to go back into her hole on the corner there. And just gotta say, well, thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, it's just another day in the life of a radio that just doesn't want to continue to work. It just doesn't want to stay up. But we will continue to bang on it with a hammer until we get it right, and she stays for a year or two, and then we'll just use it. This is going to be my radio. I use it for reference in case I see another one come in and it's all torn up and I have to use this one to figure out how to put that one back together again. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Bye now.